Good. Hello, good afternoon, Jory.
Hello.
Thank you very much for taking the time today. It will be a very quick interview on basically the aim is to show how DLT and Web3 technology can actually improve social impact and social goods. Could you start maybe by introducing a bit yourself and your company?
Yeah, sure. For sure. So thank you for inviting first. I am Florian Brewster, co-founder of EthicHub, which is a crowd lending and crowd collateral with focus on smallholder farmers in developing economies. So you can either lend them money or stake our token ETHIX on their behalf so they have collateral. And a bit of why EthicHub and myself. No? I am half Mexican, half Spanish. My family have a coffee farm in Mexico. So I know about coffee, also my co-founder, Gabriela. And in 2016, I did an innovation degree about blockchain, about different technologies where I met blockchain. And I say, okay, this will change many things, starting with financial system. So what is the biggest problem with traditional financial system that could be solved with this technology is, and from my point of view, it is the unbanked, no? That it left excluded a quarter of the world population. And so on since 2017. We started EthicHub in 2017 as an idea, and 2018 operational. We are in this focus of blockchain impact and focus on smallholder farmers, working in different ways to provide impact for them.
Okay, so in a nutshell, how would you say that EthicHub mission actually addresses the financial inclusion challenges faced by smallholder farmers in those developing countries?
So, why they are excluded is mainly because of different reasons, no? But at the end is, in one side, there is no data to do credit scoring for them, and also there is no their plot of land in the middle of the jungle, no? 3 hours drive, 2 hours walk is valueless for a traditional lender. So we had to invent something that we called crowd collateral, which means you can stake on their behalf, no? So they have something to offer as collateral to other people that lend them money.
Okay, and so how would you therefore say that the specific benefits does this technology bring to both investors, but also farmers?
So the investors interact with the technology for sure. Not all of them, because we are reaching some institutional investors that don't want to open a wallet and to study their funds, etc. So at the end, they lend to us and we operate the platform on their behalf, but they are lending because somebody provided the collateral for the loans, which is the other kind of investors. And in the farmer side, we are not yet working directly with the farmers because the technology is not yet ready. The user experience is not ready, and many different things. No, starting with in some still some significant percentage of our farmers don't have a smartphone, or even some of them don't know how to read or write. So we have to count on an intermediary, on a trust system. At the end, EthicHub is based on circles of confidence and theory of game. So all the stakeholders remain aligned with the system. So we work with the cooperative of farmers or other projects working with these farmers, but so we lend to them, to that cooperatives, and our work, as an auditor, and we are not the only auditor. We have now a second auditor, which is Heifer International, which is a huge NGO working with hundreds of cooperatives in tens of countries for decades. So our work is to make sure that that money at the end is doing something meaningful for the farm.
Okay. Okay. And so for the people that actually do not quite understand how blockchain and cryptocurrencies can actually help farmers, how would you say that EthicHub leveraged this technology to facilitate this financial inclusion, basically, right? Because why could not we just, invest with our credit cards in a very simple way? Why do we need blockchain and crypto in that model?
So, there is different reasons, no? In one side, the more traditional blockchain, no, part of it is traceability. You can see the money flows and the immutability and of the smart contracts. At the end, you are lending using a smart contract, so it's pre-configured what is the conditions for the loan, etc. So it makes it more efficient, more transparent, more immutable, even not custodial so you don't have to trust the platform, because at the end it's your funds to the smart contract to the cooperative fund wallet. So the platform, unless you decide to trust in the platform, you can be custodial of your money, no? And the platform never be custodial. This is very hard to do in the traditional financial system, and you are cutting down a lot of intermediaries. No, the important part of blockchain to understand how it is very valuable in the transfer of value is when you are buying something in Amazon or whatever, you are not transferring money from your account to Amazon account. You are sending a message to your Visa, no? To Visa to send to please say my bank to transfer to Amazon bank. So at the end, it's at least 2 banks, or maybe much more in between, plus Visa in between, intermediaries, while in blockchain is from your wallet to Amazon wallet. That's it. No intermediaries at all.
Yeah.
So you are cutting down a lot of cost in between. In this stage of the technology, it's not very meaningful because at the end the technology is not yet ready. No, so it's not that much about the cost, but it will be with the time. And it is. I mean, when the Inter-American Bank for Development lended us 400K, the cost of that transfer was for $16,000.
Okay.
With blockchain, you do that for cents, no, of a dollar. So, but for me, the most important part of it, what really couldn't be done without blockchain, is the crypto part of it, which means the ETHIX, our token, and the crowd collateral system that is reflexive with the behavior of the farmers. If the farmers behave properly and they pay back the loans, ETHIX go up in price and the system is more collateralized, and vice versa. No, if there is a lot of defaults, ETHIX are sold to pay back or to pay for the lenders. So that is just not possible to do it without blockchain.
Okay, amazing. And the thing is that leads to my other question is, how do you concretely use your crowd collateral with traditional lenders? And for those that do not know, what we mean by crowd collateral with traditional lenders mean that it's about securing bank loan agreements or private investment with Web3 collateral. How do you actually do that? How do you intertwine both of these?
So at the end, it's like a two-pool system. In one is the lending pool. This is stable coins, dollars. You lend, you earn 8%. At the end is the longer term, the higher yield. So from 7 to 10, something like that. And this, how do you say, lending pool has the collateral that lending bond have inside ETHIX. That you can access if at maturity of the bond is not paid on time, you just take out the ETHIX that they are inside the bond, and you are happy because it's over collateralized. So, and where that ETHIX come from? From the people that is buying ETHIX and staking or providing, depositing them in the system to provide collateral for the farmer.
And so I think it's because before going on the biggest challenges about this crowd collateral, you talk a lot about the ETHIX, which is the token, right? But could you a bit elaborate on what is this token for people that do not know what is ETHIX?
So the ETHIX is a utility token, which at the end, the goal is that it is the governance system, the cornerstone of governance of this multi-stakeholder governance, that in impact space, we talk about a lot about multi-stakeholder governance. In blockchain, we have the tools for doing so, which is DAOs. DAOs means decentralized autonomous organizations, which is organizations that are governed by token holders, basically. And this is what we want to accomplish with ETHIX and EthicHub. But it's more than that, because it operates, its utility is to operate, it's not only to governance the system, it's to operate the compensation system. So farmers, the cooperatives, have to buy ETHIX and stake on their own behalf. This is like your membership. You want to access cheaper capital, more capital that you were able to have before, or for the first time in your life. You save a bit, you buy some ETHIX, and that opens the credit line. But it's not enough that you buy ETHIX and stake on your own behalf. The auditor who provided who did the due diligence also have to buy ETHIX and stake on your behalf. So it's also a way for the utility for the auditors is to earn fees, because they buy ETHIX, stake on behalf of the people of the cooperative they audited, and they are getting a fee in each loan. And it's also an incentive system for the adoption. At the end, in crypto, one of the most important parts of it is that it helps you bootstrap adoption in early stages, because you can create more inflation at the beginning and use that inflation to bring in people. For sure, it is not sustainable if at the end you are not able to bring people in that at the end is self-sustainable with the fees in the long term. But it allows you to bootstrap adoption in the early stages. Okay,
and I think that comes back to another question, right? Because I think what people have a hard time to understand in Web2 ecosystem is that how can you actually, you talk about smallholder farmers, but those people have a very low income. They do not understand how you use, mobile phone or technology. So I think the main question is, how do you get farmers on board that do not know at all about those? And what kind of support you give them to actually achieve that understanding?
Yeah, as I said before, we are not working directly with the farmers because of what you are saying and more reasons. As I was saying, that some of them still don't even know how to read or write.
Yeah.
So how we overcome that with the cooperatives or other entities working with the farmers, and they are the ones who have to understand what we do, and they have to open the wallet, and they have to open the exchange account where they will convert the stable coins to fiat currency, their local fiat currency, because at the end they need local fiat currency, to pay for the things, etc. But it is an entity with somebody in accounting, which is knowledgeable to understand what we are doing and how to, and can learn perfectly well to interact with it.
Okay, and so if I had to challenge this question, right, it's basically blockchain and Web3 is all about having no intermediaries, right? Doing some peer-to-peer transaction or peer-to-peer system. And so if you need to put cooperative in the middle of you and the farmers, how would you say that, blockchain and Web3 in general can operate without intermediaries?
Because I don't think it's about eliminating only intermediaries. It's about reducing unnecessary intermediaries. The cooperative is an intermediary that is required because you will never be able to export as a smallholder farmer to Europe. You need to be part of something bigger to join together, bring coffee together, transform that coffee, and have somebody knowledgeable enough to access funding and to export that coffee and reach markets, etc. No? So you cannot run out of all the intermediaries. This allows us to run out of the valueless intermediaries, which is the banks and Visa and a lot of other intermediaries that were within the supply chain that were only providing financing, and we can eliminate them.
Perfect. Okay, that makes so much sense. And I think my other question goes back to our other talk just previously when I asked about how do you use your collateral with traditional lenders. You perfectly explained how you were doing that, but I think my question is, what are the biggest challenges and what system do you have to put in place to enable this kind of loans?
Yes, sorry, I didn't understand the question. It was noisy.
When we talk about using your crowd collateral with traditional lenders, right? My question is, what are your biggest challenges to actually use this crowd collateral with traditional lenders?
Yeah, so for sure it's trust. No, at the end, they don't believe in crypto. They don't understand crypto. That's why. And so at the beginning, they were just like allergic. No? It's like, oh no, I don't. You are crypto. I don't want to know anything about you, no? Because that's Ponzi or a scam or something like that. No? Now, with the years, more and more people is seeing value on the technology, is having a friend who is very close to the movement, no, and is convincing them, no, you have to take a look at this. This will change the financial system. You are seeing that year after year after year for 12 years, Bitcoin has been the best performing asset, etc. No, so there are more and more interest in crypto. No, but still they have to convince themselves, no, and that means they have to learn about the technology in order to overcome the fears they have. And I think it will be a bit of a change maker, no? That now that Heifer International, which is a big actor within the TradFi impact space, decided to join EthicHub. Now I think lots of other impact TradFi institutional impact investors will be more eager to support us, because it's like, okay, they are, I trust them. It's not like I trust you, but I trust them, and if they trust you, I trust you, no, indirectly.
Okay, amazing. Okay, that makes so much sense. Yeah, because I think as traditional lenders can be very averse to Web3 and blockchain and all of those new mechanisms. It's all about how can we actually showcase that there's a real value to it. And I would say my last but not least question, it's in your view, okay, what are the most unexpected lessons that you learned about connecting DeFi to the real world economy?
So I think we were just too early, no? I think it is the real opportunity, no? If you have DeFi in the metaverse, that's a bit of valueless because you are not using it to solve real world problems. This technology is very powerful and meaningful if it is used to solve real world problems. And this has been our thesis from the very beginning. But you don't have only to overcome the prejudices of the traditional impact space. No, we also had to overcome the prejudices in the crypto space that they wanted to be their world, no, and we don't want to know about the real world or the TradFi or nothing, no. But more and more they see the necessity to continue growing. You need to bring in to crypto, no, or vice versa, as ever you want to see it. No? This relationship to the real world, because at the end, the 99% of the economy is the real world. So you better interact with the real world. And again, one of the big issues is the technology itself is not yet ready, no? So the user experience is super painful. There is a lot of the intermediaries to come from the crypto to the real world and vice versa tend to be super expensive. And because again, it's early stage, little competition, etc. And I think the biggest challenge of all is at the end just understanding something new, no? Because you are facing the unknown, so you have to open the road yourself, and that means you cannot copy what others people is doing, you know? So I think that is like the biggest challenge of all, no? To understand how to use this in the real world.
Exactly. And the thing is, for me, the biggest challenge I see when I actually, use Web3 or for my own company, even, it's actually changing mentalities, right? Understanding people that, the unknown, that new things, disruption is something that it doesn't have to be scary, right? It's all about you need to learn and you need to see the real added value. And I think, for example, for EthicHub, what I think it's super interesting for this kind of whole ecosystem of bridging Web2 with Web3 is that we see true value of how technology, how DLT Web3 can actually be leveraged to make true impact.
Exactly. I think that's one of our superpowers, no? That we have been super early with a real use case, no? Connecting not only DeFi to real world, but in an impactful manner, because you can also connect DeFi to finance weapon production, so it wouldn't be that meaningful.
No,
but we have always this vision of being like of how to do the things right with this technology.
Yeah, and I think that was the last of my big question of this interview. Thank you so much, Jory, for joining me today, for answering all of this question. Do you have anything to close it off, or are we good?
Yeah, for sure. I always like closing with this idea, no, that we are facing not only in crypto, no, in the real world, we are facing a super big problems in environmental and social problems, and we have to change super fast. We don't want to just get extincted. And I think we are doing and while the traditional economy, I mean, traditional cereal producer, is growing 2% a year because economy is more or less growing 2% a year. Sustainable regenerative agriculture is growing 20-30% a year. And that's just, it happens in everything, in clothing, in cars, in energy, everything. So I think it's very important that people see impact, environmental, social, not as a altruistic thing. It's like, no, you don't, things will be done. You run out of this because what is not sustainable won't be feasible anymore.
Yeah, no, but for sure. And I think it's one of the biggest issues for generation today is how can we actually, embed, I would say, financial incentives, financial return, but also stability. And I think it's all about how can we ensure that our planet, our people, our future is safeguarded so that we do not run into any issues later on. But yeah, I think a great topic and a great issue to actually work on. And I'm super glad that EthicHub is doing that, to actually target one specific customer segment and target one of the specific problem that we're having now. But yeah, Zoe, thank you so much for your time today. And yeah, and looking forward to speaking with you soon, for sure.
Whenever you want. Nice, was
Absolutely.
really.
Cheers. Bye bye. Ciao. Ciao, Zoe.